When it comes to curb appeal, few landscaping features outrank a fence. And of all the home improvement possibilities, outside fencing can provide the greatest return on your investment. Well, Ron Cram owns Southwest Vinyl Fence and joins us this morning with more information about this very high value improvement. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. So let's talk about why Southwest Vinyl Fence is the home of the last fence. I know that's what you call yourselves.
Okay. The reason we say that is we're actually the only vinyl fence, lifetime vinyl fence fabricators in the whole state.
Oh, wow.
And so vinyl fencing, unlike the other forms of fencing materials, that's the only type of material you can get that would actually be a lifetime kind of a purchase.
That's fantastic. And obviously, like we said, it adds so much value to the home. So I'd really like us to see how you take landscaping from what could potentially be boring to beautiful. So let's take a look at that and then just sort of tell us what we're seeing as we look at the video here. Take a look at that and tell me what we're looking at here.
That's a runner-up for one of the ugliest fences we've had, and then and then the result you can see on the right-hand side is pretty impressive. It even has the same tree stump. That's an interesting story there. The people that lived there on the corner had done the pilasters and had them sitting there for many years, not knowing what to fill that with.
Wow.
They saw our fencing and asked what options we might have, and boy, they are just so thrilled with the result.
That's like Wisteria Lane right there. I mean, you've just totally beautified that one. And what about this? This is a totally different look.
This, the wood fence on the left, the before, was really not a very old wood fence, but it was already starting to fall apart, even though they had been maintaining it and treating it.
Okay.
They saw what those costs would be in the future and decided they didn't want to deal with those, so they asked us to come in, and that's what we did. We transformed that quite a bit.
I'm really curious with something like any of these that we're seeing. I mean, what's the time frame that it normally would take to make this kind of a transformation?
Our guys average about 80 linear feet a day.
Oh, wow.
So you can plan on, you know, say for a couple 100-foot job, it'd be like 3 days.
That's nothing. I mean, that's a lot less time than I would assume. And what I really was intrigued by was the fact that you don't use brackets, you don't use screws or glue to keep the fences together. So how is that possible?
Yeah, that's a common question, and it's so important. It's integral to how these fences, of the types that we do, can hold up so well.
Right.
If you use traditional brackets and screws and glue and fasteners like you see, let's say outside of a big box, you know, a big carton kind of a store, a hardware store.
Sure.
Those are prefab sections that are glued together, and in order to put them onto a post, you've got to use those brackets and screws. Well, now you're creating failure points essentially, because with high winds and so forth,
I was going to say weather
that's
issues.
where they'll break. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And so instead of that, this could illustrate it pretty well.
Okay.
We have every single post has to be routed to the specific rail that it's going to be matched to.
Okay.
And since we're the fabricator for 9 different lifetime companies for the state of New Mexico, there are a myriad of different rail ends, let's say,
bet.
you know, different styles or different types. So our CMM machine that we programs it to be a very tight fit for this rail.
Wow.
Now, if I were really doing this as a real installation, I would use the notched end here, insert this in place. In fact, I'll go ahead and do it here.
Yeah, sure.
We'll need a special tool to take it out later, but that's the point, is so that this interlocks.
And it becomes weather resistant as well, right?
It does, yep. And then we also crimp the bottom of each of these tongue and groove slats, so they nest into each other. These lock in place inside of a ridge inside this pocket rail. Now this whole system, now you can picture this with one on top.
Yeah.
This is a closed, seamless system that withstands high winds. It stays in place. It lasts without brackets, screws, and glue, and it's just efficient.
That's so interesting. Thank you for showing me that. I feel like I'm getting quite an education here. I want to also ask you this because I know you work with so many different homeowners. So how do you work with them to select which fencing will meet their needs? Because as we just saw, there's such a selection.
Yeah, true. We do free estimates within, say, you know, a 25 to 30 mile radius of Albuquerque.
Okay.
Where we can give you a written estimate, let you know what it would run to do a project in vinyl, in lifetime vinyl.
Okay.
And we're more than happy to set up a time and do that. And
give some guidance on choices, because some of us are indecisive.
Yeah, there are lots of colors available, lots of styles, decorative tops, a lot of things we can do.
Fantastic. So how can the viewers reach you?
Either through the website,
Okay.
southwestvinyl.com,
Great.
or our phone number, 343-4313.
Perfect.
And we're located on the corner of Edith and Montano.
Ron, thank you so much. Great education today, and hopefully a lot of people will get out there and check out those fences and improve the value of their home. Thanks
Well,
to
thank you.
Thank you so much.